Alright guys, so today I want to show you guys how I shoot sunset photography, and it's a pretty easy technique that I use. It's called HDR. Some of you guys might have even heard of this method, HDR. What you basically do is you take an underexposed exposure, you take a normal exposure, and then you take an overexposed exposure. And what this allows you to do, it allows you to make sure that your sky is exposed properly, your shadows, your midtones are also exposed properly, and then you mesh those together and you get a lot more information when you're editing. So I'm gonna go over with Kevin. We're gonna head on over to the street by my house here, and we're gonna go shoot the sunset. No, don't stop it, Kevin. Don't even touch the camera, dude.
No, but
we're on our way to shoot the HDR photo. I got my T5 dye, fantastic plastic, and my tripod. We're gonna head in the car and drive over there.
Alright, where are we?
We're close to where we're taking the photo. Alright guys, so we're here at the spot. We've only got like 30 more seconds of this lighting, so we gotta get started. When you're shooting landscapes or sunsets, you need to use a higher f-stop, and that's because it gets more of the frame in focus. So in my Magic Lantern menu, I'm gonna change my aperture up high, somewhere around maybe 12 or 14. We're gonna expose so this ground down here is perfectly exposed, right? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna leave the camera in the spot it's in. We're gonna crank this wheel up. Same process as before. You want a bright exposure, you want a dark exposure, and you want one where the sky is perfect. Like this. There we go. So your sky should be perfectly exposed, basically. Like it should be sexy, like nice colors coming out. It's very important when you do this not to move the camera or the tripod. So we finished shooting our HDR, beautiful, nice landscape here. We're gonna head on back to my house and we're gonna throw it on the computer and then we're gonna see what we can do from there. Alright, what's up guys? I'm back and I'm here in Lightroom. This is one of my exposures that we shot out by the little riverbed here. So if you look, I have my bright exposure, I have my medium exposure, and I took two darker ones just because I wanted more of that sky, later. So this is a really easy, simple technique. So what you do is you just click your first one and you hold shift and you click the last one. You're gonna right click those, photo merge, and go to HDR. So this is going to create an HDR preview. Basically, you're just going to be able to see like where it overlapped the images and stuff. See, it's got an auto line feature. So I mentioned earlier that you have to keep your camera like on a tripod. Sometimes if you hold your hands still enough, you can cheat it. And you can use this auto align tool. And it'll match the perspective warp and stuff for all the photos. So if you look, there's an auto tone button here, but I recommend you don't use that because it makes it really... This is the HDR that people don't like. Makes sense because it looks really fake and unrealistic. So I just turn that off. Deghosting amount, that's going to show you where the photo's overlapping. So here low, it's basically just doing these mountains over here because the photos were so similar, it just needed to do some overlapping work. So I'm gonna go ahead and click merge on these. So what this is gonna do is in the top left, you're gonna see it says creating HDR. It's gonna pop it down here on the bottom at the end or right here. All right, so it looks like our HDR is done. Let's go ahead and click down here. All right, so this is basically our HDR photo that we put together. So I'm gonna show you guys just kind of the range that you can get on these HDR photos. So I'm just gonna play with this black slider here, and you're gonna see, look how much it brightens up. Look at that. Virtually no grain because it's 4 exposures. So sometimes on these micro 4/3 cameras, like I shot this on the T5i, that's a micro 4/3 sensor. You'll get a lot of grain when you try to push your shadows and stuff. So with this technique, you're basically exposing your shadows correctly for the first exposure. So that way you can push this as much as you need to go. So I'm going to play around with some parameters and then I'm going to show you guys what I get at the end. So because we properly exposed the sky in that last exposure down here, this one, we're going to have a lot more room to bring these highlights down. It's going to bring a lot of color back out into the sky. Bring that vibrance up a little bit. Shadows I'm not too worried about. This shot in particular is not going to be very contrasty just because of the conditions. But as far as informational, it's a good example of how you should blend the images together and see what's going on. Oh, so trendy. Look at that. I raised the blacks. JK. Okay. Look how much room we have on the exposure tab. So just go down and up. Get a little bit of haloing on the mountains, but once you let go of the slider, it corrects it for you. So I'm gonna probably stick right around here somewhere. Somewhere around there. Bring those highlights down as far as they can go. Maybe even do it up here a little bit. Play with the luminance a little bit. Turn down or up those oranges, just so that sky really pops. We could even throw some split toning in here if we wanted to, just to make that sky pop like even more than it needs to. Shadows, we can add some blue down here. Look at that, real trendy. Put some blue in there. Oh yeah, real trendy. Okay, so once we are happy with our final image, we're gonna go ahead and go to export. Right-click export. Okay, so once I'm happy with this image, I'm gonna go ahead and right-click the photo in the viewport. I'm gonna click export. I'm just gonna find wherever I want this to go. Put it right in the tutorial folder, why not? We'll just do HDR test 2. Go ahead and click export. You're gonna see up here it's exporting your file. This is really basic Lightroom stuff, but I figured I'd throw it in there. Why not? Maybe somebody who's just getting familiar with Lightroom but kind of knows how to use the camera raw features. So anyways, that's going to conclude that. I will see you guys in about 1 second. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial. It's really not that hard of a technique, but it really makes your sunset photos pop, and I think more people should use HDR in more situations. I know HDR has kind of a bad rep and everything because people try to like over-process it and stuff, but I think it's a really good tool for when you're trying to capture different lighting situations in different locations. Because sometimes, you know, you'll have clouds blown out, but you'll have a foreground that's really nice. And then so if you blend the exposures together, it can give your final image a lot more dynamic range. So that's it, I guess, guys. I guess I'll probably try to do some more tutorials like this in the future. I just made a new Instagram page for more official business, you know what I mean? For more official photography posting. But I want to try to crank out this YouTube more often and try to, you know, build up my subscribers and just really try to share my knowledge with people, because I know when I was starting out that I really wish I had some of the knowledge that I do now, because you know, it would have saved me a lot of embarrassment, you know, and Kevin wouldn't be looking at me right now the way he is. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you stopped on by, don't forget to follow @Kev_Saki on Instagram. He's my best buddy, and also another shout out. Oh. Yeah, you're welcome. Another shout out goes to my cousin David at the third David. I'll put him down in the description. Same guy from the vlog a couple days ago. David drives a sweet Lexus, lives in Utah, but he's been cranking out some content lately. That's Killian up there. He's probably out of focus, but come on down here. Come on. All right, Killian. So no, stop. I gotta ask you a question. Sorry. What do you have to say about HDR photography as a whole?
HDR photography as a whole. I'd have to say I don't know too much about that. Okay. Cameras are not my thing.
We gotta go soon. It's perfect lighting. Anyways, cameras are not your thing. What if I told you that if you were shooting a sun?
Wow, I'd be amazed.
There you go. You heard it from the best, guys.
There you go.
So I guess, Killian, would you like to send them off?
Send them off where?
Send them off to wherever they live or whatever, wherever they're watching from.
Go wherever you live.
Bye.